Well, hello. As you can see, today's weather is very English. It's drizzly, overcast, not very nice, so I can't do anything in the garden, and I can't do anything on the boat. So I've come up to Lake Macquarie to visit the Classic Boat Association boat shed, where a group of enthusiasts restore and build wooden boats. Should be good. All the boats the guys work on are donated, like this classic English design sailing dinghy built 60 years ago by a gentleman for his grandkids. It was never used much, and when he was in his 90s it was donated to the shed in this amazing condition. After a few coats of varnish, it'll look brand new again. Since 2014, the group has restored over 60 boats and built 10 from scratch. They meet every Tuesday and Thursday mornings, and if you'd like to join, go to the website. I'll put the link below. So Terry, tell me about your boat.
It's a Darwin Harbour Masters dinghy, built around 1960. It was a hell of a mess when I got here. I didn't start on the boat, but I've been working on it for 3 years or plus.
Have you had to replace a lot of the timber?
I've replaced the keel.
Yeah.
The front of the boat was all that was rotted and damaged. So there's bits and pieces all over the boat. Probably should have been burnt, but we re-erected it. The gunnels were broken on both sides, and there were a few holes in the bottom. And because it's only 3-ply timber, you've got to be very careful with a whole lot of it. It's only very, very thin, very light. And I spend a couple of half days a week on it if I get here in time.
Yeah. So John, tell me about the Rathmines area. It's full of history.
It is. It's a very historical area. This area that we're on now was a RAF base back during the Second World War, and there was up to 3,500 people based here. It was one of the Catalina flying plane bases back in the day. This building here, the brick building, in fact was the emergency power station that we're fortunate now to have as a workshop. And our number one workshop over on the waterfront was an ablutions block. And there was about 5 or 6 of those along there. And then the big hall behind our number one workshop was the original theatre. They used to have dances and so forth, celebrations there. I believe it was about the mid-50s that it was decommissioned, and then finally shut down altogether in the early 60s. And a lot of the buildings were moved from this site, and around the lake area here, a lot of those original buildings are now community halls and the like.
So behind me is the boat ramp where the flying boats used to launch. Everywhere you look, there's a shared passion for timber, from half hulls to this amazing ski boat.
There was a couple built this in 1964, built the hull itself. We inherited it. It was gifted to us in September 2019, and we've been working on it ever since. So we've put the deck on it. It's got a laid teak cedar deck on it, 350 Chev engine.
You put the engine in?
Yes.
Wow. Did you find it hard to get the engine?
We were very fortunate actually with it. It had been in a boat previously. We got it marinised. The engine had been rebuilt. We've run it on the floor a couple of times, very impressed with the way it runs, beautiful oil pressure. It was built somewhere between 69 and 72. The original builders of the boat from back in the 60s, they had a previous boat to this one that they'd built, and it was called Rhythm. So when it was gifted to us, they made one request and said, we'd like it to be called Rhythm. I asked the reason for that. I was told that the original owners both grandparents were music teachers. So the name Rhythm came out of that. So we've named this one Rhythm 2. We're looking forward to that sign writing. We want some old school sign writers. 6mm marine ply deck over all the framework, and then our Australian red cedar and Canadian yellow cedar laid on top of that, all glued, no screws, no nails.
Did it take long to do?
By the time we cut the timber and actually glued it and set it, it was probably 5 weeks.
Wow.
One of the things we're proud of is this front piece here is steamed and bent all the way around through there. And once we finish the install of the engine, this will all be sanded back again and clear coated. And another, 8 to 10 coats of clear to fill the grain of that red cedar. It's been a real labour of love. We've had up to 9 people working on this at any one time.
Wow.
Well, the steering wheel is interesting. My wife and I were down in Bathurst about 3 years ago, and it just happened that the 60th anniversary of the E-Type Jaguar was on. And there was a whole swag of Jags there, and they all had the same sort of steering wheel, and I thought that would look ideal in our boat Rhythm.
Oh,
so
beautiful.
I took a photo of it, came home and drew it up, and that's the result. So it's a full stainless steel rim, and then we've bonded plywood to the rim and then shaped it up.
Fantastic, John.
Hopefully September this year it'll be in the water. So that'll be 60 years to the year since the original owners built the hull itself.
Boat Shed boat number 1 from 2010, first boat for the Boat Shed called Mascot.
Right.
It's a 1950s built by a shipwright in Coal Point for a Captain Thomas Talbot, who ended up being a local school teacher. The work of art, about 14 kg.
But the latest new build belongs to Steve, who's building a Selway Fisher. He bought the plans and is keen to get the boat finished so he can join us on some raids. When did you start building it?
Late last year I built all the frames at home, and then late February we erected it all here and started building the boat.
And what's this model called?
It's a Selway Fisher Ptarmigan 17.
Ptarmigan. Right.
With a P, like Tom.
Right. Why this design? What appeals to you about this boat?
The main thing is it's fairly stable but flat bottom. It's got a cabin, so it's nice for camping in.
It's a good size, isn't it? Big cabin.
Big cabin in it. The oil rig, which is easy to sail with. That's the plan.
And when are you going to join us on a raid?
As soon as it's finished.
Which will be next week sometime.
I'm hoping by the end of this year, but we'll see.
I'm really looking forward to following Steve's progress on the Selway Fisher, and in the future joining him on the water. So it was a really interesting morning meeting all the guys from the Classic Boat Shed at Rathmines up here at Lake Macquarie. People that are passionate about wooden boats, building and restoring them. And thanks for watching Sailing Cape Louise, and I'll see you on the water somewhere next time. Actually, it will be on the water at Port Stephens in a couple of weeks' time. See you then. If you want to see why more people enjoy dinghy cruising and sailing, hit the subscribe button or just give me a like. Thank you.